Welcome everyone to Conversations, our unscripted program on Spiritism. And as unscripted as it gets, really. We are here today in the 2015 World Parliament of Religions, doing many things, and we want to talk about that today. It's really a unique opportunity for us to share what's happening here. It's really a milestone for Spiritism, we think, in English. But before we do that, we want to introduce ourselves so you know who you're listening to, and this time around, who you're actually seeing. We're actually doing this in video. First time.
Very first time in video.
Which is amazing. We are really lucky to have here with us our friend who is exceedingly good at this, and we'll talk a little bit more about the video piece later. But anyways, let's start by introducing yourselves a little bit, and just tell me who you are, where you're from, and anything else that you think we should know.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. It's a great pleasure being here. And as Daniel says, like this is this unscripted conversation that we are having at this moment. It's so enjoying. My name is Marcelo Netto. I am originally from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, but I live in the United States for 18 years, about 18 years. I live in Miami. And I work I'm a volunteer in a conscious living Spiritist group in Miami. I also work for the Federation, the Spiritist Federation of Florida. And at this moment, representing Odyssey of America. And we are here having this wonderful experience, amazing experience. But let me pass the microphone to Flavio. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking here forever. Flavio, please.
All right.
Who are you, Flavio?
Who am I? I'm just somebody else. No, I'm just kidding. Flavio Zanetti from Boston, at the volunteer at the Allan Kardec Spirit Society of Massachusetts, born and raised in Brazil, and super excited, honored, and what a blessing to be here. Definitely a blessing.
All right, and I'm Dan. I'm Daniel Assisi from San Diego, California. I'm also thrilled to be here for a variety of reasons, and maybe we can get into that a little bit. We have a couple of things to share with you, what we're doing here, why we're here.
Yes.
And just to make it short and sweet for you, there's 3 different reasons we're really here for. One is we were excited to be part on and showcase a documentary that's an interfaith documentary. We'll talk more about that. We're also super excited to introduce Spiritism in this venue, at this event, at this magnitude, and we'll talk about that as well. And we're also super excited to not only introduce and be present, but also distribute books. There are 6,000 books here, Spiritist books, and we are also going to talk a little bit about that, which is a first. So where should we start, gentlemen? Pick one. Where should we start?
Documentary.
Documentary?
Yes, we should.
Documentary.
Yes.
All right. Before we do documentary, though, maybe we should run some numbers, right? For folks to understand where we are,
yes.
Right? And so this is the 2015 Parliament of the World's Religion. Mm-hmm. It's an event that's been happening for almost 100 years.
Over 100 years.
Right, over 100 years?
1889 was the first
1889?
one. Yeah.
Where was the last one? You guys know?
I think it was Chicago. Chicago was the last one.
No, Chicago was, Australia.
Was it Melbourne, Australia?
Melbourne, Australia.
So maybe the last one in the U.S.
It was Chicago.
Was it Chicago?
Yeah. Okay. So it's really a world event, right?
Yep.
And it was taking place every 5-6 years. We hear talks that they might shorten that and do it more often. But this is amazing, folks, because there are 10,000 people here. 10,000 people from all around the world have taken their time to come here and be together. And they come from over, I believe, 50 countries, 80 countries and 50 religions.
80
Other way around.
countries and 50 religions, that's true, yeah. 80 countries and 50 religions being represented over here. And this is so... it's such a level of an energy, if I can use this this expression. And it's so amazing because everybody is talking pretty much the same thing. Of course, we find like a few differences and people that might have seen God in a different way, but at the end, like the main core, it's the same thing. So we are all here together, trying to find a way to live together and professing one hope. Many faiths, as the project Togetherness is saying, but there's only one hope for the whole humanity. A hope to be together. A hope to live one another, joining forces and holding hands. It's not a kumbaya thing. It's just like there's like a thrill. That's true. It's real. It's you feel it. Like you see many lectures here. People like talking about real possibilities, like practical possibilities of trying to proposing solutions and for certain problems around the world, and that's so fantastic. Let me pass the phone to Flavio. You want to say something?
I want to echo. I think you guys nailed it. I want to echo the
microphone, man.
Sorry, dude. I want to echo the energy. I want to echo the vibrations. I really wish you guys could be here with us to sense, to feel it. It's just simply amazing.
And so,
amazing.
So for folks to have a sense of how great this is and what big of an effort and the whole vibration, the atmosphere here, can you guys tell me about the opening ceremony? Tell me what it was and what took place, because I think that will give folks a sense. Of course, words probably won't do it justice, but who wants to take a crack at it?
I'll say something. Absolutely, it's going to be difficult for me to explain the emotion and the everything that took place back in the opening ceremony. It was so fantastic. So we see like all these beliefs together. I don't know how many, but I thought was like 10,000 people all together at the same room. It probably looks like that. And when the Indians, the Indians, Native Americans exactly came from here. When the Utahns, that's exactly the expression. They were like playing drums and singing their songs. I see a Catholic nun, and she was crying, sobbing so much, and I was just got a ride in her sobbing, and I was making company of her, like, because everybody was feeling exactly the same thing. So intense, so beautiful, so wonderful. I wish I have the correct words to express the sentiment that I was feeling back then. It's so nice. You want to say something, Flavio?
Yeah, it was very difficult to control the shedding of tears during the opening ceremony when the Native Americans, the Indian chiefs, were going through towards the stage, using their instruments, using their rituals. It was very powerful. It was a message that all of us were in that auditorium, in that function hall, really vibrating and meditating towards one end, which is we're all here with the same intention. Imagine, guys, if you could even sense the spirituality around us, right? The spirit world, 10,000 incarnate souls, right? Here with the same effort, the same intention. Imagine the spirits were here as well with us, making sure that this is happening, making sure that, this is taking place, which is phenomenal.
And so picture this in your minds. There is an auditorium. It sits about 5,000 to 6,000 people, and pretty much almost seats are taken.
Fact. Yeah.
It's full. And first come in the Native Americans, and they're hitting their drums in that beautiful, steady rhythm. Doom, doom, doom. And then there is a procession of all the world religions following and coming in, with kids carrying flags, with people dressed in their attires and their robes and their sacred pieces, and they're all following the Native Americans, because the Native Americans being from Utah, representing the land and welcoming everybody into their land since they were the first inhabitants. So it's a beautiful visual too. Right? Here it comes the Native Americans in all their gear, in all their beauty, with all their beautiful drums, and there's all these people dressed differently following them in a procession. And while the crowd, like these guys described, are just aghast. They're just soaking it all in. There were some people sitting behind us, right? Do you guys remember the angels?
The
angels.
Peace angels from Australia.
So here's what happens, which was great. We were together, we're sitting together, and so we are really taken at this moment in time, right? There's pretty much everybody's got a little bit of a tear or two going down their cheeks.
Maybe more than that.
And so we turn around, and Marcelo is smiling, and he's looking back to this lady who is also smiling, maybe like 3 or 4, rows behind, and she's just so excited, and we're so excited. So she needs to come over and talk to us. So she comes over and gives us a hug, and we're talking, and we find out who they are. Do you remember who they are?
They're like an organization in Australia. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. From an organization in Australia, Peace Angels.
Peaceangels.com.au.
Exactly. To be honest, I don't remember exactly what she says about like what kind of job, what kind of work she's doing in Australia. The only thing that I perceive is her real love, real intention. And we when we hug, when the Spirit says like words are simply an allegorical way to express ourselves, I see her only with her eyes looking at me like a condensed amount of information that I unloaded like during the rest of the event. And this, if I unloading all these information that she gave me, was a message of harmony, of fraternity, and saying, well, I'm just coming up with ideas that I thought was exactly this that she was giving to me back then at that moment. It was like, keep doing what you're doing. And I sent to her exactly the same thing. Keep doing what you're doing. So we might be working in different departments, but the boss is the same. This is so amazing, so profound, so wonderful. And everybody was thrilled with everything, right?
Yep. Do you want to switch gears to the documentary now?
No, really quickly, before we finish this one up,
Yep.
Why don't we say, so there's 10,000 people, there's talks and all kinds of events and dances taking on. There's also an exhibit floor, right?
Yep.
But let's just maybe we can kind of ride the wave and talk. Who were the people that we talked here so far, really quickly? Are there specific groups that kind of jumped out to your mind? People that came talk to us? Like, for instance, I can say near our booth, which you can see behind us if you're following the video stream. If you're not, we'll tell you a little bit more about it later, too. For instance, the Sikhs are over here. They're fantastic folks. They're so kind. They are literally having people sit down, and they're doing turbans for them, because for them it's important to cover their head as a sign of respect, and also to signify that they have taken a vow of being just and kind towards society. They're nearby. I talked to some monks, to some Hindus. There's a couple of Wicca people that came by and talked to us, which was fantastic too. Anybody else, any other religious denomination or philosophy or idea that you think came by to talk to us and that was interesting?
Yeah, a couple of Mormon folks came on to the booth trying to learn more about what we were doing, some of the concepts of Spiritism. And what we found out is, based on our conversations, a lot of the things that we do, that we learn from Spiritism, there's a lot of similarities with the LDS Church. Also, folks from the Spiritualist movement. We spoke to a couple of Catholic priests. They're trying to understand more about this thing called Spiritism. We spoke to folks that were pagans. I spoke to one woman that she wrote a guide on this obsession. She even quotes Allan Kardec's books in her book herself. It was a lot of different folks, different religions, but one thing was pretty common, right? Amongst most of the folks that we talked to, we have way more similarities than differences. This is, I think, was to me the most important takeaway from this event. On the folks that we spoke to, a lot of similarities, a lot of the things that we're doing, they also do. A lot of the ideas that we have, the Spiritism brings, right? In conceptualization, they're pretty close. This is what was really interesting to me.
How about you, Marcelo? Who did you meet that connected with you? That any specific story or interesting rendezvous you could share with folks?
Oh, the Native Americans talk to my heart so intensely, and the priests, the Catholic priests. I have an affinity with them, and a Mormon came to our booth yesterday. He was a very tall guy. He's one of the organizers of this huge event, and he was going one booth at the other, and he stopped by our booth asking what you guys preach, what you guys believe. And I was talking to him explaining the whole philosophy, the whole thing, the three aspects, trying to be very, resuming everything, all the explanation. And I says what is your belief? And says I am a Mormon, and so we believe in the Christ's moral and the Christ's teachings, which is very universal. And I open the Spirit's book and I show him one of the questions that Allan Kardec asked to the spirits, the 625 that everybody knows by heart. It says what is the guide and model for humanity? And the answer is Jesus. It says what? and it was like, I like this. And then like I know a few questions placed by Kardec and a few answers by heart because the lectures and everything. And I open like the book exactly in those pages, and he says like, oh, can I take one? Please take the whole book with you. And he took the whole thing. This morning, probably was him that sent a Twitter to Andrea, my wife, inviting her to be part of a network. And I believe I have a feeling, I cannot say this is for sure, but I can have a feeling that some connection might be brewing. Exactly. So our main objective is not to convert anyone. And I believe the main objective of everyone here, it's not to convert anyone. It's for us to know about each other, to know about their beliefs, so we can, in our daily lives, we can apply beautiful teachings from that book, from that religion, from that one, and use in our speeches and try to format our life in a very moral way, trying to learn from each other. That's the art that we are missing, I guess, so far.
I'm going to disagree just a little bit because, that's just who I am.
That's part of conversation.
Part of conversation.
You have to disagree with something.
Some people are actually trying to convert others.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
You did this?
Yeah, we actually had the opportunity to, Fred, by the way, just flew to this morning, so he's not able to be here with us. Fred, hope you're having a great time in the airplane. Some folks are actually trying to convert. So we actually took a stroll and tried to find and talk to all of the booths that are out there. And hey, what do you do? What are the things that you're showing or showcasing or presenting? And some of those folks, hey, yeah, but you should look at this. You should, right? Perhaps might be interesting if you look at this. The way they approach, sometimes they actually try to.
If you were to qualify, what percentage of people are doing that?
Oh, 5%. Very small, very tiny.
Yeah. So overall, it's pretty awesome thing.
Overall, pretty awesome. We actually, I forgot to mention. Sorry, that scared me. One of the guys that came to our booth, I think it was 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, from metaphysics. And look at these. These are all fantastic knowledge. I never heard about this before. I had an idea, but that's not the. I can all do. Don't worry about it. It was an idea that I only thought very superficial. But looking at this book, and he spent almost an hour in the booth with Fred and I. And at the end of the conversation, he goes, "Well, I really think we have a lot more in common than we actually thought." And he even gave me a book about metaphysics, right? And again, overall, super, super positive.
Great. So you heard it. Catholics, Mormons, Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Muslims, Mormons, Wiccas,
Christians.
pagans, all kinds of pagans, all kinds of Christians. So they're all here. It's fantastic. We're going to, hopefully by doing this, you have a sense of the atmosphere and see a little bit. And as you can tell, we're doing this live and actually in the exhibit floor right now. So there's some background noise, and it's not because our quality of audio sucks. This time we actually have a professional helping us out, so that's not the case. Generally, it's our doing. But this time it is not. But you get a sense. And we're going to take a quick break and come back in case we ever get some kind of advertising or we have some news. But let's be honest, we don't have any right now. But we're going to take a break anyways. And we'll come back in a couple of seconds after Marcelo said something for us.
No, yes, just for you guys not to miss the next conversation. Daniel and us and Flavio, and we're going to talk about yesterday what happened inside the tabernacle in the Mormons church.
Please,
was amazing. All religions singing inside of the Mormon church. Beautiful. And the church was like absolutely packed.
When we come back.
Stay tuned, folks.
And we're back. And this time around, we are talking about the Togetherness Project, which is a pretty exciting event that's taking place here. Flavio, tell me a little bit about the Togetherness Project.
Yes, very, very interesting. Let me just show. You saw the flyer, the brochure. These are some of the cards that we've made to showcase the documentary. So this documentary in particular was an effort that our fellow friends here have done traveling 6,000 miles across the United States, interviewing over 25 different people from different religions, different denominations, different backgrounds, asking them questions such as what is God?
But these weren't just people.
No, those were religious leaders. Very well put. Reverends, pastors, priests, imams, rabbis, right? Spiritist folks. So those were religious leaders, are really folks that are out there showcasing their beliefs and their philosophies to the world. This documentary was shot about 2 months or so time frame, and what we're doing here at the booth is showcasing the documentary through this card. We have been inviting people to participate in the premiere. The premiere was yesterday morning. We had about a dozen or so people looking at the documentary. We had a room. We showcased the documentary. What really struck me about this documentary is...
Wait, before you say what struck about the documentary.
No.
Eduardo, get back here from behind the camera.
Yes, this is the guy, this is the producer, and the video... Thanks, bud. Thanks for coming.
I'm the responsible for this mess.
Not a mess.
Thanks
It's
for being
actually...
here, Eduardo.
Thanks for being here, man.
Me and my beloved wife.
Mirella.
Yeah, togetherness.
Togetherness. This is our,
when you spend that much time together, people, working long hours, you come up with crazy things. And one of the things we've done, and you're welcome to join, is every time somebody says togetherness, everybody has to say togetherness too. So that's how we pass the time. So togetherness. Togetherness. Sorry to interrupt you, buddy.
No problem. It's part of the game. And one of the things that we've been showcasing is inviting people to use this documentary that's available online. The website is intogetherness.org. So intogetherness.org. By the way, if you want to download it, use it. Feel free to check it out. And we've been inviting people to go. We give them one of these cards. They can see the documentary. We've also been showcasing. I'm sure you can see behind us a television, and the documentary keeps on going all day long, all the episodes. We've done that throughout the days, and this has been one of the key components of our booths here, showcasing this documentary and inviting folks to check it out. Right?
That's right. This project was very interesting because actually what we said in the beginning of our conversation, it's we put like Eduardo put like and Mirella put like all religious people that represents their religions, their beliefs, and as Daniel says and Flavio, it took like over 2 months, and they rent an RV. Driving across U.S.
6,000 miles.
6,000 miles from, it started in Miami, and then end up like almost Alaska, going Seattle. Miami, it was the...
Started in Seattle, all the way down.
Exactly,
West Coast,
exactly.
up to Chicago, then...
Make sure you pass the microphone.
6,000 miles. You get the map.
As you guys can see, we're very professional. Super.
Clearly, we've done this many times before. Not, right? Not. So, Marcelo, can you tell me what the documentary looks like? What is it made of? And when you saw it, what did you think?
The documentary is a fantastic idea. And then when we see different people representing their beliefs, talking about the same thing. So was chosen like a few questions. What is God? What is charity? What do you think? Do you think there's life after death? And like fundamental questions that we all ask. Every belief system asks exactly the same question. And when Eduardo, which is our Steven Spielberg from Brazil, put this together, and Steve, we call Steve, yeah, exactly. Eddie Stevie, yeah, right. And you see the connections that we are going to see in this documentary, that we have much more in common that we diverge. That's why the name Togetherness, because we are together in this planet. We are together. If we act in a way that we can be together, we can make a change. So without like preaching, without proselytism, like trying to impose our beliefs, but getting the core of every religion, we will see that we are actually talking about the same thing. So when the footage that he took and he actually a few images was made by him. He got a drone, put a camera there. A few images was taken in Orlando, here in many places here. The drone goes up, taking shots. Was so professional, so beautiful, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
So I think Marcelo's point is great because it's both not only great content, but it's also great technical execution, right? The backgrounds look great. There's some beautiful, music and
TV quality. I want to highlight is TV quality. I mean, it's a documentary. You could
HD stuff.
HD stuff. You could see a PBS or it's definitely. But I wanted to highlight something that we're missing. It just came back to me.
Wait. Before, okay, go ahead.
Many faiths, one hope. It's also part of the name. Togetherness, many faiths, one hope. Really, really important.
It is, because exactly what this document shows for me. It was great because if I were to spoil it for you a little bit, or maybe entice you to watch it, who knows? I would say that what you're going to see is all those leaders, right, just talking about one topic per episode, and there is no host, there is no fluff. Yeah. It's just what you get is them talking, which is beautiful because it goes to what Flavio was saying. You see many faiths talking about the same thing, the same topic, and you can see how they're pretty much similar throughout, right? And here's some of the topics. So there's 10 episodes. I want to make sure you guys know, and Flavio already said the URL, right, which is intogetherness.org. Yep. And by the way, when I said togetherness, okay.
Don't forget that.
I was just going to see if you guys were going to do it.
It was a code that Claudia, Arodo's wife, established for the whole group, and then we copy her, and now became like the symbol of the whole group.
And this is something that we didn't mention, but we had the honor of last minute having Haroldo Dutres and his wife over here with us. But Claudia, which we had a lot of fun with Claudia. She kept us sane, let me tell you. We are a little bit insane sometimes. But so the 10 episodes, sometimes.
That's an understatement.
So the 10 episodes. Episode number 1, what is God? Episode number 2, talking to God. Number 3,
charity.
Number 4, when does life begin? Number 5, free will. Number 6, angels and demons. Ooh. Number 7.
Number 7, faith and health. Number 8, life and death.
Ooh, life after death. Ooh, after death.
After death. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Number 9.
Future of the humanity.
And 10, faith in the 21st century. So you can certainly pick a topic if you're interested in and watch just that one, or you can go through the whole process. But we're talking about lots of content, beautiful stuff from beautiful people. I am sure you're going to like some of the people that were in the documentary. Is there anybody that jumped out that you did not know in the documentary that you really like watching or hearing the perspective on it?
Yes, I liked Brian McLaren, the progressive Christian. Is he a pastor, a priest, a religious leader? I think he was a pastor one time, and then now he's a progressive Christian leader. And he talked about a lot of things that we understand from Spiritism around the progression of things, law of progress, around the future of religions, per se. We're all, the same, we're all equal, equality, ability to really see it from a different lens. He even mentioned taking the spirit out of the letter. I think it was amazing what he said.
He's in Marco Island, Florida. Yeah.
Florida shout out going on here by the Florida guy. Who knew that the Florida guy was going to give a shout out to the Florida people? Who knew?
There's more. If you see, there's Presbyterians, reverends, there, they all belong to Florida. So you will see. Oh, it's amazing. You have to see the documentary. We're not going to say much because you have to go online and check it out and share with others because you will see. It doesn't have to be a spiritist and has to be a citizen of the planet Earth.
Let me say one thing before I forget. Guys, if you want to download the documentary, it's free. You can produce it at your centers. There's no royalties. This was produced 100% free of charge. You can use it. You can download it. You can use that to foster interfaith discussions in your communities, spiritist centers. Please use it.
Yeah, and a big shout out here to obviously Eduardo and Mirella, who put a lot of their time, 2 months driving around when they could be having fun in an RV.
An RV. Right?
An RV. And I never taken an RV, but I know that might be fun for a while, but 2 months might be a little rough. So a shout out to them and to our benefactors, sponsors in Brazil too, who help us, who help them produce this, because it's really their doing. We have nothing to do with it other than showing up, right? So really a great thank you, because it's really fantastic, right? But let's go back really quickly. Who else? So you talked about Brian McLaren. I think that Joyce, right? Joyce, a Presbyterian, she was so charismatic. It was just great to see her, and you can just see that. And you're going to see this. The quality of the video is fantastic. So the backgrounds and everything else,
It's TV quality.
it really
When I
is.
said that, you could see that at a PBS, you really could, right?
That's the next step.
Let's hope. That's for the future. So you see Joyce. I really like Ted as well. Falcon.
Falcon was amazing.
It was amazing. Just wait. Who else did you like?
Oh, I like everybody.
Oh, I like this guy called Marcelo Netto. He was there. Oh my God, what a great voice. A lot of passion. I think I might, maybe I should call him and see if he's interested in speaking.
A lot of passion, but little knowledge. But he a lot of passion, that's for sure.
What about the guy called Daniel? Have you heard of him? Daniel is just great, right? There was a fireplace, like he needed in San Diego, a fireplace. But that's okay, like a fireplace in the back and a crib.
Yeah, the crib. I was a little embarrassed about the crib. I got to be honest with you. Here we are trying to think about things, and I figured the crib was in the corner because I have a 2-year-old, and he wasn't going to show up. I'm like, yeah, it's all the way to the corner. And then I look, I'm like, good job, Dan. Very professional. Nobody got time for that. But so we have lots of people, right, from different faiths. I think it's a great tool, like you say. You can download it. You can see it in togetherness.org. How about we go around and say, how could we use this documentary in our Spiritist groups and centers? What could we do with this? Maybe we can give folks some ideas, because I think we all agree, and I want to make sure that I ask, I'm not assuming anything. I think we all agree this is really a powerful tool for us to learn more about other people and broaden our perspective a little bit, so that when people that have some backgrounds in other faiths come to us, we also understand a little bit about them, and we're able to relate, right?
We have to, otherwise it's very difficult to come together in a consensus and at least they kick off the conversations. For example, when Mormons came and talked to us, they also believe, right, they can be God-like or achieve relative perfection. They were actually persecuted by a lot of the fundamentalist Christians back in the days, right? So a lot of similarities. So it's really important for us to understand more about our other faiths so we can engage in these conversations. That's great, drive some empathy, rapport, really understand it and come to the same page. Really, really important. Really, it's a call to action for us, Spiritists, to learn more about other folks' philosophies, religions, and doctrines, and really backgrounds, as well as this will better enable us to really talk about Spiritism, talk about what we love, what we really embraced as philosophy for our lives.
That's a really good point that you guys brought, because we knowing where these people they are coming from, we can approach them without any pretensions of like being converting them, but knowing exactly the background that they have, the religious, the philosophical, the cultural background that they have. We can empathize, as you pretty much said, and establishing this connection. They might be staying in our Spiritist centers, or they maybe not. Maybe sometimes they get a book. As for example, I saw one of the reverends get one book, and she opened randomly, for example, Our Daily Bread. And one of the passages that was inside of the book, and she read the explanation gave by Emmanuel, says like, oh, this is really interesting. Maybe I can use in my sermons. Yes, that's for sure. It doesn't have to put like, this is Spiritism. Use in your churches, use in your temples. Do exactly what you're doing. Because actually, the intention is not to create only one faith. It's to create a different faith. One hope to be us, transforming ourselves and becoming better human beings. That's the main objective. So get something from Buddhism, from Catholicism, from Spiritism, and put it together and try to use this.
So really quickly, a quick wrap around, 30 seconds. How can we use a documentary then, going back to our question? How could we, in our groups, could we use this? How could we use it? What kind of ideas can you think of? For instance, I think this might be a great way of getting our study groups together. If we have like a study group together and show one of these every once in a while and just have a conversation, have some screenings, maybe even, maybe the directors or the producers could also even let us do some fundraising with this, right? So we say, hey, we're gonna ask them. I don't know. We're gonna ask them first, but I think that they might be okay with that. I think they say. I think we just put them on the spot right now, and he said yes. So maybe you could make an event, an event in one day a week, and say, hey guys, come watch this one documentary. There's 10 of them. You can do one a month if you want to, and get popcorn. Ask for donations. That's a couple of ideas. Anything else you guys can think of?
No, that's you said it all. That's a good idea. I have exactly the same idea, and you put it better.
I think you could also use that as workshops. You could use it as fundraising. You could use it to give to your. Our goal here is to bring this back not only to the folks in this event, also back to our workers, to our Spiritist, folks that goes to our centers, right? They go to our centers. Huge opportunities ahead of us.
Great. So we are reaching our break. We're reaching a break, so we'll come back in a little bit, and we'll talk more about the booth and the books. How about that? The books. But in the meantime, Flavio, can you help us out here? Don't forget togetherness, many faiths, one hope, intotogetherness.org. Intotogetherness.org. All right, and we are now coming back to the third block of our conversations, and this time around we're talking about, you guessed it, books and the booth. And so I guess you might have the question of, how did we get here? Why are we here to begin with?
Can we show the booth? Can you guys see the booth behind us?
If you are watching on the video piece, you can see the booth. And if you are not, it's a beautiful booth, and a lot of effort went into it by the girls. We have Mirella and Samadi over here, who did a tremendous amount of work putting together. We have some shelves there with lots of books. We're going to talk about them. We have a TV in the background showing the documentary, the different episodes that keeps running. What else? We have a couch. Where we can sit and talk, and some people actually are making a lot of use of the couch. Marcelo over there has been talking to some folks for a while, and so has Flavio, where they sit down and talk about all kinds of things. So it's a really inviting place. Beautiful decorations, beautiful visuals. It's a great place. What else would you guys add about the booth?
I think we've walked around the event, showcasing, really distributing some cards from for the documentary that Eduardo Mirella put together. Excuse me. But I think it's important to mention that this is one of the most beautiful booths in the event. It's very well put.
Flavio, are you tooting your own horn on this one?
No, I'm not. We've walked around, we've seen things, and a lot of work that has been put into making this a very welcoming, a very. It's great. It's a great booth, right? Folks are attracted to it. When they see, they stopped, right? There's a little bit of chocolate there too, but that's not the case. They look at the booth and they see it. It's a very nice one.
Chocolate is a required element to a spiritual evolution. I don't know if you know about this, but it's not in the codification.
I heard from a good friend of mine that chocolate is one of the proofs of God's existence. But that's okay. I diverge.
Along with air conditioning, indoor plumbing, and a couple of extra things. Without those, life would be hard.
More difficult.
But absolutely. So the booth is looking beautiful. And what are we doing in the booth? So the booth is really three things together. I think we talked about it a little bit, right? We talked about the Togetherness Project. Something's coming up over here. I think they were going to have some kind of dance nearby. I can hear some bells in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Hold on a second. There's all kinds of activities happening here. This is live, people. And so we have...
Unscripted and live.
Unscripted conversations. And so one of the great things we're doing in the booth is showcasing the documentary, which we'll talk briefly about. The other thing is... Wow, I don't know even how to start this, because this is amazing. I find this is amazing. We have, and I hope you hear this right,
6,500 books.
6,500 books being distributed here free of charge. Free of charge. And
how this thing happened, Daniel?
Great question. So maybe Flavio's going to have to help me out here, but... Sure. When we heard that the documentary was going to come and be featured here, some of us, like yours truly here, said, I got to go because I want to see this. And then we start talking, and then we got together, as it often happens in our Spiritist midst, right? We talked about different people. And Marcelo also got together in this with Edise, with Andrea, and we learned from them that there was a couple of sponsors that were willing to buy books from Edise to bring him over here, which I thought it was fantastic. But when they said there was going to be some sponsors buying, I'm like, wow, fantastic. We're going to have like some books to
500 books.
500 books, you know, it's fantastic. But they told me later that the sponsorship kept growing from different people, from different groups, and and we had 6,500 books.
That's the result.
Which books do we have, Flavio?
I'll start with one of the most important ones that we've been distributing, which is the Spiritism in its simplest expression. This is an amazing book because it's short. If you all go to the events like this, right? Sometimes it's tough to carry bags. So, of all folks that we've spoken to, pretty much everybody got this book and brought it home. So this is one of the most important books, in our humble opinion, in this event. It talks about the story of Spiritism, how it all started, and some of the important concepts or characteristics of Spiritism, right? What is God, attributes of divinity, and so forth. So this is one of the most important ones that we are giving them away here in the event.
And if I may say something about this book, which I think is great, because it's small and light, pocket size, it's also not intrusive. So whenever you like, for instance, we have here like the Spirits book, we all know, right? It's heavy. If a conference, it's hard to carry. Like, so people are like, oh, I've already got lots of books. It's going to be hard to put it in my bag. But this one is a great little one for us to do for people who have known, because it's really not intrusive. It's psychological, small little one, So that one's been great.
Yep, keep it in the back pocket. Keep it in the back. I mean, it works really well. So that's one thing that we.
One of them. Marcelo, pick a book. Tell us about it.
Well, in the little bags that we are distributing, I want to read.
Bags for less. Bags for less.
Bags for less.
Bags for less. Okay.
Go for the bag.
No, bags for less.
Conversations. Go for the bag.
No
Go for the
script.
bag. We tell the man grab a book
Well,
and he grabs a bag.
Since Flavio was mentioning about the Spiritism in its simplest expression, one of the bags, actually, this bag is being given away to all our folks that are going through our booth. There's something that we print. It's that the belief in spirits is also found in all religions, just as it is found in all cultures, because since human beings are everywhere, souls or spirits are everywhere. Their manifestations have occurred in every age and have been recorded in the writings of every religion without exception. Thus, one may be Eastern or Roman Catholic, Protestant, Jew or Muslim, and believe in spirit manifestations, and as a consequence, be Spiritist. Allan Kardec in Spiritism in its simplest expression. Wow. This is on page 29, and many folks from different belief systems actually find a point of connection with Spiritism, reading what is printed on these bags. This is something really interesting. So one of the books that we are distributing also, it's What is Spiritism? Also inside of this bag. It's a wonderful book because it tells the story, and it's a not very brief introduction as the Spiritism in its simplest expression, but it tells a little more deep about the story and what is actually Spiritism is all about. Of course, we have to have the Spirits book also being given away.
No, but hang on a second. The bag that you mentioned, what's in the bag? The simplest expression.
Go ahead.
What is Spiritism? And one more thing that's in the back. A book catalog.
No, a book catalog, Flavio?
Yes, a brochure for folks that are interested in these things, may be able to order more books in the future, right?
And so how many books we have in the brochure, Marcelo?
Good question. I don't know. I guess 43 books, if I'm not mistaken.
So all Andre Lewis works.
Andre Lewis works. Andre Lewis, Emmanuel, the codification. Here it is, the brochure.
Here it is. And by the way, it looks beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
And what we did is we put all the publishers, all the Edises around the world. We put Edise, the International, Edise of America, Edise Andina in Colombia, Edise in Switzerland, and they have like all the addresses, all the websites, and everything here. So since we have like 80 countries being represented over here, we might be finding folks from different countries and, of course, different languages. That's why this catalog is so international, if I can use this expression.
So I just counted, folks. 37 books are in the catalog.
Okay, so we have Paul Stephen 2,000 years ago. We have Our Daily Bread. We have the Gospel According to Spiritism, and many, many, many others. So it's a lot of books. A lot of books.
A lot of books.
And so we have 37 here in the catalog, which I thought was great because it gives folks who, if they get books and they want to know more, they can figure it out, right?
Steps, yep.
There's obviously the websites that are great, but what I want to point out, which I think is really great, is we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. 7 different titles here, right? We have novels, we have interpretations, we have the core of the codification, and so we got a little bit for everything. We have a little explanation piece, but what I thought was really cool too, besides our ability to give this out thanks to the sponsors for free, is we haven't seen anybody here giving away literature like this. They obviously give some pamphlets and maybe even a book or two, but I haven't seen anybody freely giving away 7 great quality books.
The caliber of the books or works that we're giving out here, it's by far off the charts, right? So we see other folks giving out pamphlets to learn more about their religions, their philosophies and so forth. But when you look at a work like Paul and Stephen, right? Very well written, talks about this story that really brings tears to your eyes. I mean, when you start talking about these books, it's very difficult to find another type of quality that's being given in the event.
And here's the funny thing. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I thought it was really funny. The first day, people were not really approaching us as much as they were in the next day because they looked at all these books and they assumed they're for sale.
Yeah, they're for sale, yeah.
And so people are very polite and they're just not, touching because they don't want to be rude. But once we put the free little signs there, we've got a couple more people coming in like, what? You're giving books away for free?
Invasion. It was an invasion, my God.
How are you doing this? Are you giving everything for every single little book for free? Yes, we are.
And it's a conversation changer, right? So Flavio has been really in the forefront of talking to a lot of folks that are coming in. Right? He's done a tremendous job of just being the initial point of contact. And what I noticed was, people sometimes come very respectful and sometimes a little guarded because it's different, right? But it's great that they're coming, which is amazing, right? They're open, which is really fantastic. But once they hear that there's a free component and we're not charging for things, they go, wow, and they seem to open up. And what's your take, Flavio?
My take is folks are used to getting things for free. They're very, very simple. Maybe a catalog, maybe a brochure, maybe a pamphlet, something that's printed. When they see, a book like this, right, 500 pages, well produced, and it being free. Once again, thanks to our sponsors. Really important to call that out. The conversation changes, right? The approach changes. How are you doing this? What comes? And then what we've tried to do is bridge a link to one of the most important components of Spiritism that teaches us, which is charity, right? Thanks to donations, thanks to a sponsor, we've been able to do this. We donate these books to the public overall. Super, super important.
In fact, there is a table here that I'm looking at a distance. I don't know if we can pan to it, but that's called free literature. And if you look over there, what you're going to see is a blue traditional table with a chair, lots of pamphlets, right? And there's only a couple books there if you're standing up, and they're all books, right? Because nobody else is actually giving books away for free. So that's a fantastic starting conversation.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. It's an attention grabber as well, because when you say books are free, people go, how can you do that, right? What's the point of giving things for free? And then it's one of the ways that we found to really bridge the concept of charity, concept of really showcasing the message out there, and everybody liked it, right? I've never been able to, everybody that I spoke to at least took one book home, very least one book at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think zooming out a little bit, and not only talking about books, but the whole effort here, I think it speaks to the very aspect that we were talking about before, the togetherness, because it really was a concatenation, to use a fancy word, like a connection of people and ideas, as it often happens with us. We had a documentary, And people say, "Hey, I'll go." And then we said, "Hey, if we're gonna go, should we try to have a booth?" And then people start showing up, and sponsorships came in. And Eddie said, "Hey, maybe we can find a sponsor to donate books." And sponsors came up, different ones. And then we had the opportunity to come together and start talking. And you probably saw somewhere here in the literature too this thing called the Spiritist Institute. We should probably talk about this more in the future and maybe in one of our next conversations. But basically, it's a group of people doing a nonprofit to kind of help other folks and other nonprofits. There's lots of great work being done by the United States Spiritist Council, by the federations, and this one will be like a totally separate thing that just helps with different things yet. And so we're learning more about that. We should talk about that more in the future. But it's great to see that by folks coming together and talking togetherness. We keep multiplying. We keep adding new ways of helping. And so this sponsorship that came up, for instance, was an amazing thing, letting us do this booth, helping finish the documentary, which is really, really fantastic. And we still, if you're looking at the video piece, we have Joyce in the background. We have Andrea sending a message to somebody. Hi, Andrea. She's waving at a distance. We tried to get her to be here and talk to us, but we couldn't get her away from the booth because there were people coming in.
Someone had to stay there,
And some just stay there. And so we're doing different things. But what is the one thing that you guys would take away, just to wrap up our segment here? What is the one thing you would take away from the booth experience and everything else? Any great stories that you remember that you're going to take away with you? Any interactions with people?
I'll start, I guess. We spoke to, Fred and I spoke to a Christian fundamentalist a pastor. Then when he saw the word Spiritism, he goes, "I attack you guys. I condemn you guys. You talk to demons." And that was an interesting question because we try to
16 million followers.
Has 16 million followers on Twitter, his radio program, radio talk show. And one of the things that we try to do is, of course, embracing with the utmost respect and try to really showcase what Spiritism is and what it is not. Oftentimes, the word Spiritism has a lot of misconceptions. And, of course, he was one of those guys that had thought that everything in Spiritism had to do with communicating with demons and entities out there. So again, I'm not expecting that he's going to read all the books, but the good thing is I've asked him at the end of the conversation, and we spoke about an hour or so. So if the work that you do is great, but please read our works so you can have some good arguments, either against it or for it. At least do some work, do some research. We're offering you this for free. So he was very welcoming to get all the books, bring back home, read them. He got our email addresses. I'm sure he'll be in contact. Right? Or I'm afraid he'll be in contact. Right?
No, it's a great thing, Flavio. And so I kind of follow the conversation at a distance a little bit, which I thought was great because it speaks to the event. People who see things differently are coming and talking and say, "Hey, I attack you." But he wasn't rude or aggressive.
He wasn't rude. He wasn't aggressive. He was just, it's curious because I never thought you were going to be here. I never picture you guys as a religion. I picture you guys as something else.
A cult or something.
A cult or a sect or, yeah, exactly.
And I love what Flavio said, like, "Hey, here's some books, read us and attack us fairly," right?
Exactly.
Attack us like from a learned perspective as opposed to, if you find flaw with this, come and talk to us. And they've become friends. And we were crossing the street in the afternoon to go out for dinner. It was funny because, he was crossing the other way and he waved and Flavio was like, "Hey!" So they've become great friends, which is, I think, is the core of what we're doing here, right? We can disagree, but we can still be together. We can still be friends. Togetherness. We don't have to take personally, right? We can just talk about ideas and still go out and have fun. So that's a great interaction. I think that it's a great way of wrapping this segment up, unless Marcelo has something else he wants to say. Anybody else that you met? You want to talk about anybody that you met here?
Well, one event that actually struck me by surprise and I felt very emotional was nothing like out of it was fantastic. Just a lady that came by the booth and that he was looking at the books and he grabbed one of the books, actually was Our Daily Bread, and he was reading, he was passing her hand on the front page of the book, and suddenly he started she was starting crying and was like, "What happened?" And a sort of a fraternal counseling took place in that moment. It's so intense because not many words were mentioned not only from me, not only from her, but something actually happened there. So many occasions, many moments, many wonderful moments. So that's all I want to say at this time.
That's good. Thanks, man.
Fantastic, thank you. So, to sum up, we have 6,500 books where we're giving away. Not anymore. We had 6,500. We have a great presence here. It's a beautiful booth. It's one of the better looking ones, to be honest with you. Clearly, we're biased, but I want to say that lots of effort went into it. It's really looking great, and we're telling folks about Spiritism, but we're also opening our hearts. And lots of people are coming and staying for a little bit, which is amazing. They come down, they sit, they talk.
Feel welcome to our booth. They feel very welcome.
Which is great. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll have our last thoughts on this.
Stay tuned.
And we're back with conversations. We are wrapping up our presence here at the 2015 Parliament of the World's Religion. Boo.
Boo.
Sad moment. But we want to wrap up with our final thoughts. But before we do that, I think one thing we should say is that we're just lucky, the three of us, to be here and be talking to you in front of us. But what you don't see is the countless amounts of hours that have been put into this event, from shipping books and preparing booths and traveling and going back and forth and finding lodging and coordinating things back and forth. And we have the people who really done the heavy lifting here. And we want to bring both Mirella and Samedi over here. So they're not really excited about being in front of the cameras. But Mirella over there not only helped produce the documentary, but going around interviewing people. Some of the same thing here as well, helping with all kinds of things, and we're driving her nuts. So thank you so much for all the guys. You guys are working.
Great job.
Well done. Togetherness. And I think that's a very, very exemplary and a great example of the work that we do in our Spiritist groups too, where oftentimes we have those who do the lectures, but it's important for us not to forget of the many people.
Everyone has a contribution, has a skin in the game to make things happen, right?
And so as we begin to wrap this up, we wanted to recognize all the great people that put a lot of effort, and some people who are not here. And we tried to get Fred on FaceTime too.
He's flying right now.
He's flying right now. But so a big shout out to Fred as well from New York, who's going back home now to help us do all this. But so our parting thoughts. What is it that we take away from this amazing event? What are the things and the lessons that we learned? I mean, we obviously know about Spiritism. We are learning more about it. We keep on going. But what would you say, Marcelo and Flavio, are the biggest takeaways from the experience, and that maybe we can pass it on to our friends?
Age before beauty. Please, Marcelo.
Well, what I wanted to say is for those who are seeing this conversation that we are having here, that you are not alone. If you're a Spiritist, if you are interested in studying Spiritism, you're not alone. There's like many institutions here, United States, and throughout the whole world that can help you out. Here in U.S., you have the United States Spiritist Council, and you can go online and go to their website, and you see much information about if there's a Spiritist center closer to you in your state, and you can reach out to them. You can reach out to the board members. You have the Spiritist Federation of Florida, and you can also reach out to them. The Tri-State Spiritist Federation that comprises 3 states, the state of Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey, and they formed a federation they call a Tri-State Spiritist Federation. You can also reach out to them, so you're not alone. Go ahead, initiate your study group. Don't think that you have to start from the top, from something huge. Huge work and big works always starts from the first step. Get together, get the books, reach out to us. Maybe if you're starting your new group, you can reach out to ADC of America requesting our package. There's being given away for starting groups are actually trying to establish this wonderful work of spreading Spiritism. So that's my words that you're not alone, and pass the phone to Flavio.
By the way, it's not a phone; it's a microphone. Marcelo, thank you. Just
Do you want to pass your phone to him too? Because he could use it. Yeah. This guy talks a lot on the phone. He might need a second phone.
thanks.
As you can see, we are very formal around here, and as you can see, we just met each other right now. We do not know each other. Yeah.
Definitely not. No, jokes aside, dude, great job. Thank you. Really, really important. One thing that I'd like to call out, and I think we really think it's a fantastic opportunity for all of us, Spiritists, is to just go beyond our Spiritist centers. What we've done here in this event, talking to folks from many, many different religions, right? 50, 60, 70 religions that we've seen here across. I wish you guys could see it. A lot of different booths, a lot of different folks from different religions, different philosophies. Again, an amazing opportunity to go beyond, right, our Spiritist centers and engage in our communities. Have the interfaith dialogue. This documentary that we've talked about, it's going to be really, really pivotal for us to really get into the mindset of talking to other folks. As Marcelo mentioned, if you are a Spiritist, and all of us here are, I'm sure, you already are someone that believes in interfaith discussions. The quote from the bag, right? It doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, Catholic, Jew, and if you believe in spirit, and we all do, that's what it matters. So my call to action to all of you listening or hearing, engage in our communities. Have these discussions. Use those opportunities to really showcase Spiritism. Because what we've seen here, everybody's willing to understand more about the world, what's out there, what's available. And we have a lot to contribute, right? Small, slow, but the opportunity is there. Engage in these conversations. Thank you.
And that's great. As a matter of fact, it's hard to say anything else after these guys have said it. But we learned something really fantastic and amazing just a couple of minutes ago. But I also want to share, and we're going to share that quickly with you, but we all had a pleasure yesterday of attending a fantastic concert at the Tabernacle, which was the famous Mormon Tabernacle. And we all know the famous Mormon choir, which was amazing. But yesterday, there's something that I probably won't ever see again in my lifetime. It was a multi-faith concert taking place. We had all kinds of people. Started again with the Native Americans. We had the Catholics, Muslims. We have Sikh also performing. We had the Baha'i doing a fantastic choir as well. And we had the amazing multi-faith children's choir that brought the house down, people. We had Muslims, Christians, Jews, and Hindus together, all singing together, all the kids singing together on stage. And people stood up and sang along. It was something amazing. And why do I say that? Because it was truly a beautiful moment where all people were willing to be together and share their perspectives, and everybody was just as one big flock, one shepherd, one flock, right? And so that was an incredible opportunity for us to come together and talk about things. But we wanted to share that with you, then take those messages away and see how things are going to go. I wanted to take you over there too, because we just heard that while we were having these conversations here, Andrea was back there talking to somebody with a fantastic, another example of how this is really meaningful and actionable. And she's now talking to somebody. So what I'm going to do maybe is let's just kind of surprise her over there. And maybe we can ask Flavio to take over the conversation that's happening back there. And we can ask her and just give a shout out to all the amazing work she's done too. Are you guys willing? Can we take the camera over there? We're just going to improvise. And if you're on the radio, don't worry. The camera is small. He's not going to trip. He's not going to hurt. It's safe. But let's go over there.
We've been improvising like the beginning.
Yes, like they didn't know that before, right? Like we were improvising. And so let's make our way over here. And maybe if you're following us on camera, you can see too how beautiful the booth is.
How are you? I'm Flavio. She's my boss. Is she doing a great job here? All right, I'm glad to hear that.
Can we steal her away for a couple of minutes, for 1 minute or so?
Talk to her.
Come over here.
Are you giving things away again?
I am.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
So this is our Andrea, who's done a tremendous job here,
guys.
and who said she did not want to be in a program, which means we're going to put her in a program, just because she said that. And so, Andrea, lots of things happening here. We talked to folks about everything that's happening. Can you share quickly with us the amazing conversation you just had with somebody in the booth while we were over there talking?
Yeah, most definitely. because as we know, some of us who know Spiritism, the most beautiful aspect of Spiritism is its consoling aspect and how much strength it brings someone who is going through the process of separation from a family member who may be ill or who has already discarnated, and they're filled with grief in their hearts and being exposed to a reality that they're not certain. Will I ever see my loved one again? Can they communicate with me? So I was talking to someone who asked me, what is it that made me wish to be a Spiritist? And among many things, for some reason, the conversation went about the fact that my own father discarnated in February. And when my own grandfather died a few years ago, I felt very alone and very hurt, and felt that I wasn't going to have the loving presence that he was in my life. And his eyes, the gentleman's eyes, got teary like mine now, and silly goose. And his wife said, you know, his father just discarnated a few months ago as well. And can you tell us what is it that you believe about that? So I started talking to them about this consoling idea that the loving ties that we have developed is never broken. And in reality, they're just in different schedules. They just left before us, but they are with us. And we are able to see them in due time, and they are able to guide us if allowed. But one of the things that we know is that we will meet again. And if we are careful enough and we try to go through this understanding that life doesn't cease to exist and that we will see our loved ones again, it brings a lot of comfort. And she said, I really like the idea to have this, because a lot of times we are not sure. And she said, are you really sure about this? I said, I'm not sure. I know. So it was wonderful. It's beautiful. Many other cases, but this one was very touching.
Thank you for sharing the story.
You're welcome.
Thank you for all that you've done here, along with our beautiful friends who are here all the time. And so we're running against our time, but I think you've heard all the messages that we wanted to give and to bring to everybody, which really is, you're not alone. Like Marcelo said, reach out to Spiritist groups around you as a person or as a worker. Also, like Flavio said, reach out to your community. Reach out to your community as well and see if you can make connections with other faiths and other people, because as we saw there in a quote in the beautiful bag, Spiritism is about interfaith.
It is.
And you don't have to be part of one denomination to be with us, right? So that's a message that's been there for 150 years. In the very nature of Spiritism, we see woven the idea that all faiths come together, many faiths, one hope. So, and you see here too at the end that we talked about the great event that we had yesterday, and there are 10,000 people here in this conference coming together, opening their hearts, being part of that one flock. Like one people. So these are beautiful messages. We hope you take that away with you, and we hope that you continue to engage in what you do, feel energized, and we are honored to be able to talk to you a little bit. Of course, we are very grateful for the work of everybody that's here and behind the scenes. We got lots of people working for you everywhere. Marcelo talked about the Spiritist Federations in Florida and the Tri-State area. Of course, United States Spiritist Council. We now have new opportunities to help folks with the Spirit Institute. So there's lots of different things going there. ADC of America helping with books, the council too, the International Spiritist Council.
I want to say hi to my peeps, Concha Living Spiritist Group. Woo!
There's always somebody.
Hello, Boston! Hello, Boston!
There's always somebody trying to get a message through. Just like the spirits, they're always knocking. But all in all, 10,000 people here cheering for you, loving, coming together, which is a fantastic pace. And if you like what you heard, what you saw here today, this is one of the first times we do this. On videos for sure. So let us know, because if it's meaningful to you, we would love to continue these conversations. And you can reach us via an email for now, conversations@spiritism.org. Reach out, tell us, I like this, I didn't like this, I would like to hear more about this, I have questions about this. And then we'll take it from there. But all in all, I think from all of us, a big kiss, a heartfelt embrace, and
Togetherness!
See you soon, folks.
Thank you.